Syndicate Encryption Key was nerfed within basically a day, and turns out having all access on channels for 2TC was just a little too strong. Nukies now use your preferred species, so no longer will you be stuck with the Diana if you don't want it, or you can pick the Diana if you want it. And what that means is that if you have like a human selected as your character from the main menu and you're selected as a Nuki, you will be a human, but you will still have the Nuki names. Bleeding has received a pretty big overhaul. Gone are the days where you could just use brute packs to stop bleeding. I had to take anti-bleed meds like gauze or other clotting agents, and the usage of iron and such will go up. It doesn't really take much. It just takes a few slash wounds to get you start bleeding, and once you start bleeding, you're gonna want to definitely get some actual medical care, because as you can see, you start bleeding out pretty rapidly, even when you haven't taken all that much slash damage. And to keep in mind that slash damage is much more likely to make you bleed compared to something like blunt, like a crowbar. You now have the Emag vending machines, such as the Piety vendor, to get the things like the cult armor. Before, you used to be able to just have to hack the account wire, and it would have made them appear, but now you actually have to pull out your Emag, and it'll say the card zaps something, and then there you go, you can get your Acolyte armor, your cult armors, your cult shoes, Necronomicon, and all that good stuff. The waste bag was added to the game, and you could get yours at the nearest close mate. It is at the very bottom currently. There are 3 of them per close mate, so they'll probably go pretty quick. And what it is just a belt slot storage that is 20 storage total. The leather waist bag can hold pretty much anything as long as it fits in there, so don't be afraid to put your waist pack Cobra in there. All heads now spawn with a flash in their backpack. And you might think that's useless, because if you just press Z, you're going to blind yourself. What you can actually do is you can just turn on harm and use it like a melee weapon, and it will flash only the person that you hit and no one else around you or yourself. But remember, they still need to not have glasses on, or it's going to do literally nothing. The Warden has been granted his own Hardsuit, which spawns in his locker by default. It is fairly protective. It is fairly protective against all combat stats, not great against heat, but your enemies typically won't be having heat weapons. And if you put it on, take off my cap, this is the full sprite. And I'll do a little twirl just so you can see the side views, and throw my backpack off. So you can see the side views, and the front view, and the back view. And the helmet is also rather resistant to the normal combat types. Creatures like the Rat King and such can no longer run under doors that have been welded. So as you can see, this door has been welded shut, can't crawl under it, but you can still crawl under normal doors. So this gives welding doors a more tactical advantage to fighting off rats. I'm sure we're going to see this used in actual play. You could definitely wall in Rat Kings as an effective strategy now. Livestock crates have had 10 times the air capacity compared to previously, and all entity storage now has 2.5 times higher air capacity. What this means is now when you buy the chef his cow crate like normal, you're no longer going to have to make it a speed run to make sure that your cow inside is not dead. And look, he's totally fine. And of course, I only cover the more forward-facing significant things. There's been a lot of good stuff this week, and I wanted to thank every one of our maintainers and contributors for all their hard work for the game. Lots of nice fixes this week, small little additions, and even back-end stuff that we won't see quite yet. Some of this stuff is definitely going to be changing the way the game plays entirely, such as the Warden's Hardsuit makes it so that destroying the armory doesn't just lock everyone out that doesn't have a Hardsuit. The Warden should be able to actually put on his Hardsuit and hopefully be able to recover a situation that's lost. And the bleeding one has already had a huge effect on the game. Lots of talks back and forth of how to deal with it, whether it should be changed. And one minor instance, IFF console boards. For the people that like building shuttles, you can now actually have a proper way of distinguishing your shuttle rather than just its size. So that's another small little change. And yeah, that is it for now.